So here we are again for the next challenge of Narnia. The first challenge, I think I did it in May, and you can watch my video for that. Took me a while to get to the second one, but here I am. Like the first episode, we're going to connect to SSH, so I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to use the password from last episode. And here we are in the machine again as Narnia 1. And so today's goal is going to be to escalate privileges to Narnia 2. So let's go back to the Narnia challenges and let's try the challenge for Narnia 2. I mean Narnia 1 because we are currently Narnia 1 and we're trying to get to Narnia 2. So here is the program. There's a function. It's actually a function pointer, which doesn't have a definition yet. And then we look in an environment variable called egg. If that variable does not exist, there's a helpful message. And if it does exist, this function pointer gets set to the memory address of this environment variable, and then we execute it. Okay, so this challenge is relatively simple to understand, but in my opinion, I think it's difficult to actually complete because it's pretty easy to see that we need to set the environment variable to be some kind of shellcode. But figuring out what that shellcode is going to be is very difficult. And so for full honesty, I've already tried this challenge and I failed multiple times. And so I looked at some little hints online and I saw that most people were going on this website right here called shellstorm.org, which contains a huge library of existing shellcodes so that you don't have to spend time trying to craft your own shellcode. You can just use the shellcode that somebody already created. So it's a lot of guess and check, but this is the way that most people were doing it online, while I was trying to make my own shellcode, which is very difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the VM and I'll make a temporary file like this so we can start making our Python script that is going to create this egg environment variable. And then we need to go try some shellcodes from the shellstorm.org website. If we go back to the terminal and we do uname.a, we can get some information about this machine, including what architecture it is. And so here we can see that it's a 64-bit machine because those shellcodes are very specific to the operating system and the architecture. So we need to make sure that we choose the right one. So if we go by elimination, we know that it's going to be Intel x86 64 or Intel x86. And so I did say this was a 64-bit machine, but on a 64-bit architecture, you can still run 32-bit programs because it's backwards compatible. So we actually have to look at both lists right here. Let's see. Well, like I said, there's going to be a lot of guessing and checking. So let's just start with this one and see what it gives us. Let's copy the shellcode. Make sure we add the B right here. And let's go ahead and run this code. We're going to export into the egg variable the output of the Python script we just created. So it's going to be Python 3. Close all that. And to check that we loaded the egg environment variable correctly, we can echo -n egg. And then with XXD, we can make sure that this is hex 48, hex 31. And if we go back to Firefox, hex 48, hex 31, and it ends with hex 0f, hex 05. And we can see that this matches correctly. So we know that our Python script works correctly. Now let's try to run our program, Narnia 1, and we get an illegal instruction. Let's do another guessing check. This time we're going to do one from the x86 instruction set instead of the 64-bit. So I'm going to try not this one, because this one just does execve. We want to spawn a shell, so maybe this one would work. Let's try that. I'm going to put all this in the Python script. Let's remove all the comments, and let's try to run that code. So load the output of that in the egg envar and run. Oh, who am I? Oh, I'm still Narnia 1. So I guess that script doesn't work. Let me just make sure that I did the script correctly, because this one had comments and stuff, so I want to make sure it works. Let's see, it starts with 6A17 and ends with 80. That is 6A17 and it ends with CD80. Yeah, so it's just that this script doesn't work. And so I'm not going to bore you going through all of these scripts trying to figure out one that works, because it's just trial and error. And it turns out that the one that does work is this one, the polymorphic execve. Let's copy the shellcode and let's run it, export, and execute the program. And now we have a shell. Who am I? Narnia 2. So I'm not gonna lie, like I said in the beginning, I really struggled with this one, even though it was supposed to be easy, because I was just trying to write the shellcode myself. But so it means, like, when you're doing these sort of challenges, don't be afraid to look online for resources and stuff. Don't just like ask for the solution, but using your resources is a good way to improve your skills in challenges like these. Now, before I leave, I'm going to make sure that I do get the password for next challenge. That'll be Narnia 2. And I'm going to go and copy that in my file with all of my passwords. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll make sure that I'll do the next challenge soon enough.